Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Showboat. Today is Sunday, July 14th, 2019. Welcome to more Pyanodons. So, lots of things that I went over between the Friday stream and today. So, in particular, I was looking at the whole of the oil distillates processing, and it got me thinking, wow, there is a lot one can do through the processing of oil distillates. So as I load into the game, off screen, I did a little bit, and in particular, I got to this point and I saved just to point out that yes, I did see that I missed a spot at the end of this kick alkaline last time. But I also ran this line of coke, my second lane. I ran it down and about next to the other. So now it comes down and jumps across my steam line and then merges up into one. So now there's enough coke being diverted into the fuel oil power area. And at the moment, I am now occasionally topping out on my production for my energy, but it's not as big of an issue for the moment. I still, however, want to go and add a bit more to it today. However, I was looking at, if I pull out a DDC, I was looking at something somewhere. This. So, you can convert crude oil into residual oil as well as low, medium, and high distillates. And it's 100 units into 100 units, so there's no real change in amounts here. You're basically splitting crude into four separate things, four separate entities. So with the residual oil, itself, the first of the four items, can be converted into a residual mixture with ash and steam into a hot residual mixture into coke, and it takes coke in to make the hot residual, and it gives you twice as much out as what you shove in through coke. So after taking the speeds into consideration, you get twice what you put in on the coke. So you can basically, you have one way of converting some oil into coke through the residual oil. However, low distillates can be used to make coal gas, which is what interests me greatly. This process interests me greatly, and there's this thing here, tin chromium alloy. I think I did set this up off screen somewhere all the way up here. Yes, I set up a single advanced foundry and shoved chromium and tin into it to make this alloy. This is a very fast process through an advanced foundry, so I went ahead and I set that little guy up off screen. So the low distillates can be used to make coal gas through the tin chromium alloy directly. That seems like a very, very nice uh, process. You could also use low distillates to make kerosene, which you can convert into 800C combustion mixture. I don't know why you would want to do that necessarily out of low distillates. Otherwise, medium distillates convert into stripped distillates with titanium tetrachloride. These stripped distillates can be used to make gasoline with tin chromium alloy, which we're going to need gasoline to make, I think it's TPA. TPA, I'm pretty sure, is the one. The one. The only. And that's going to be needed, of course, for the aramid that will be used to actually cast the molten stainless steel. Because everything that I'm looking up has to do in some way with creating stainless steel, and gasoline is one of those things. So, what about the high distillates? Well, the high distillates can use gasoline to convert gasoline and water, but it's a closed loop on the water, to create condensed distillates. And what do condensed distillates make? Many things, actually. With the addition of titanium tetrachloride, you can get aromatics out of the distillates. You could even get hydrogen by adding tin chromium alloy. At a following tech level, you could even convert them into petroleum gas. I may want to do that. You could also do refined syngas. Conserve on the amount of syngas that I'm converting into refined syngas. Or even saline water without any other addition. That is another potential thing. Or just straight up syngas with less alloy. So I can use this process to save on my zinc chloride being converted into this. Now, if I'm going to be going... Now, this is sort of locked behind being able to make gasoline, and this isn't a process that I am going to be doing initially. I will make my gasoline through this process because that just makes sense. However, getting to stripped distillates means going the route of titanium tetrachloride, which means getting some chlorine and titanium and coal dust going. However, this is going to need a machine called the light oil refinery, and the light oil refinery will need nichrome. Now, we're going to need nichrome for other things. In particular, we're going to need nichrome to make olefins out of shale oil. No, we're going to need it for TPA. Yes, this is the TPA recipe that I want, and you may be wondering, didn't I say that I needed gasoline for TPA? Yes, I need gasoline to make liquid nitrogen. Liquid nitrogen comes from nitrogen, water, and gasoline. Why gasoline? I don't know. But yeah, in order to get to TPA through the recipe that I want to use to make TPA, I will need liquid nitrogen, and liquid nitrogen will require the gasoline. And this is used, this nichrome, for bunches of things. There's even a nylon recipe that uses nichrome. nichrome, benzene, ammonia, and chlorine. That's not actually a bad recipe. Now that I'm thinking about it, that is not a particularly bad recipe. So, yeah, things are pointing in the direction of needing nickel at this point if I'm going to be doing that form of oil processing to give me a source of gasoline. Now, what would I do with the heavy... not heavy, but the high distillates in the end after making them into condensed distillates? Oh boy, which one of these should I do? I probably would not want to do increased demand on what little titanium tetrachloride I would make. So probably this refined syngas might be the winner. Yeah, refined syngas might be the winner here. Why go through the effort of using the gasoline just to make saline water? That doesn't really make too much sense to me. So probably the refined syngas to avoid using the zinc chloride. That will be what I end up doing on that front. But starting things off for the day, I will be going up here to start setting up some additional power, because more power is clearly required. More power and more crude oil just in general is going to be required. Now, I have this not set up right now. One thing that I could do, because we're a bit backed up on... eventually backed up on stuff. I don't know if this is actually consuming all of the heavy oil. I can stick a, I can stick an overflow valve to use the remaining stuffs. So I think I'll do that. I'll stick an overflow valve down and start making the crude oil here again. The fuel oil here again, excuse me. Alright. DDCs. DDCs. That is not the spacing. That is the spacing. Make for me fuel oil from crude. Thank you. Come again. That'll help. A little. A little bit. No guarantee that all three of these can be fed at all times. In fact, I would wager probably not. And as a result, these may consume all of their combustion mixture. So by doing this, do I really have to go out? Yes, I still do, because this is a convenient source of crude. Alright, where is my nearest car? Wow, I don't have any cars here. I have a car right there. Right there. So that's where I'll head. I definitely have enough big electric poles, fortunately. How far down? Still quite far down. So it's adventure time. Now the question is, do I want to make enough pump jacks to also get that one? I need 7. The other question is, do I want to convert all of this crude into fuel oil? Because if I don't, then I probably shouldn't do the conversion into fuel oil up there. I should bring the crude oil down to save on the amount of pipes. If that is my ultimate intention. So what would mark a good spot? I guess from here, just start working my way. So off we go. Off we go to set up stuff. I'm gonna need more DDCs when I get back. This is gonna be very wobbly of a line as I attempt to avoid stuff on the way. Convenient that I have a spot right next to a nexlet rock. Now, I was tempted by the idea of adding in the mod that automatically puts resources marked on your map. There is a mod that does that, but unfortunately, that mod does not recognize the oil or the tar patches, and it pulls up a little message every single time it fails to mark one of the oil or tar patches, which is a little bit of a shame. Ooh, I don't want to go over this borax with one of those. But I still need to head northwards. Now, it would have been convenient to convert to fuel oil here due to the local source of coal, but I'm not going to bother with it. Speaking of coal, I've got the kitty right next to me, whose name is also Cole, but spelled K-O-L-E. Yeah, he has arrived. He is here with me. Sleeping. Or trying to, anyway. I'm gonna make that face that way. And there's a reason for that. Because I'm going to line all these dudes up. like so. And then boink, there we go. And let there be power. So this patch is making 439 per second. I'll come down and hook it up with this patch down here. Now that coal patch, when I said that it was convenient that it was here, this coal patch, it's convenient that it's here for conversion into coke to actually convert the fuel oil locally if I wanted to convert fuel oil locally into power. Otherwise, I'm just gonna move it. Move it away. So just like before. Just gonna align all the things. Why align it here? Well, because at some point I'm gonna have to go either down and over or over and down. And I'm gonna say I'm going to go over and down. Oh look, more kimberlite. So there was a post on the forums in the Pyanodon section of the mod forums on Factorio website asking about kimberlite. Someone on their map didn't really have much kimberlite. It's apparently supposed to be a fairly rare resource. So says the guy with like 18 things here and another 3 right here that I didn't even see before. And then more here in a couple spots, more here and here. Apparently you get diamonds out of these things. Apparently it's diamonds, from what I could tell. Kimberlite. Kimberlite is used in diamond tailings. Used for tailings and concentrate. Tailings. Jig concentrate separation. Oh goodness. The crude diamonds. Washed crude diamonds. Washed diamonds. Classified industrial diamonds. Yes, industrial grade. Which is actually technically low-grade diamonds, for reference. Just for reference, that means that they are lower-grade diamonds. Where did I leave my car? Right here. So yeah, kimberlite is diamonds. Let's not forget to provide the power to the stuff. and other things. Out of the car. Man, that's the one quality of life thing that I wish we had, was the ability to repair crap from within the car. Have I mentioned how much I dislike the volcanic zone slowdown? Part of me is actually tempted to install aviation like Nilaus has done in his Crastorio playthrough, just to avoid the slowdown caused by alien biomes on the volcanic terrain in particular, because it's basically the same slowdown that you get when you walk through shallow water, also added in alien biomes. That's the degree of the slowdown when you are going through those fields. Oh hey, more tar. Yet more tar. What's the concentration? That is a really good concentration. 470 total. 113 out of that one. This is a really good tar patch, right next to a uranium ore block with lots and lots of coal. This is a good, like, spot right here. This is nice. I like this spot. This is a good spot. There's lots of good spots on this map. Oh boy, RSO. RSO. You do wonderful, beautiful things. Excuse me. By the way, how far am I going here? Bit more. Just a bit more. Long ways to go, even. So, processing and mining of nickel. As it turns out, I can do the molten nickel process, so I will absolutely attempt to do so. And that's going to involve all of the usual suspects. Alright, are we good enough? I think we might be good enough, and I can just run the crude from over here. Back in a volcanic zone, unfortunately. So all this purple is big slowdown. Of course, all the rocks that will be in my way. Rock, please. Oh my. Getting a little low on health from hitting all these rocks. Please don't in a rock. Thank you. Wonder what happens when you destroy a car when you're in it. Do you die too? That would be hilarious. Down, down we go. We're almost there. Just about made it. Excellent. We have arrived. Fix myself up, and then think a bit. So, how much crude oil is this? It is 589 plus 438.9. So 589 plus 438.9, that's 1,027.9 per second. I hate when the chair caster goes over the headphone cord. Anyhoozle. So 1,027.9, 1,028 per second on this crude oil line. Where is the actual crude oil line on my bus? Do I even have? I do even have. What just so happens to be the line that will be drawn for this? It will be right here. So I will absolutely be taking excess crude and sticking it on my bus. Why? It seems like a decent enough idea if I want to take excess and convert it into 4 different things between the residual and the different distillates, low, medium, and high distillates. Seems like a better idea to bust the crude than it does to bust the distillates. That seems like a much better idea to me. Especially when you end up getting 1-to-1 on the ratio. You're not losing any fluid out of doing this. So, how much do I want to convert into power? At least 400 units per second. 400 units per second is basically this setup. This set of 6 is consuming 400 units per second of fuel oil from down here. So down here we've got 490.2 per second being converted into 400 units. Or is that 200 units, I think? Blah. Blah 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 blah. I don't know. I don't know anymore. My math is wrong. I are confruzzled. It's 2 units of crude per unit of fuel oil. I want to burn 400 fuel oil. And if I'm burning this is burning 400 fuel oil into, not fuel oil, 400 crude oil into 200 fuel oil into 6 thingies, which are burning total 200 fuel oil, maybe. Yes, 200 fuel oil out of 400 crude oil. So I want this again, because this is doing, I think it's actually 2 ratio if everything is being pulled, which is 24.8 times 5 times 0.8 for 80%, or 99.2. I want another 99.2 here. Basically just copy paste. I will need to do the destructive distillation column setup though, which is going to need nothing. It needs nothing. So just 4 DDCs in total. Looks like I need more copper plates for this. Drink my beautiful coffee with coconut almond milk. Why do I drink coconut almond milk in my coffee? Because I like it. Why do I not have milk or creamer instead? Well, it happens to be because I am on a low-carb diet / ketogenic diet, if I end up ever being low enough for that at this point. Started off as strict keto, but after losing 170 pounds, you sort of start to not quite care so much anymore about the stricter carb requirements when you're trying to maintain a weight. Technically, I'm still trying to lose another, 15 pounds or so. I want to be normal BMI, maybe, at some point, rather than overweight BMI. But, I think from going to 366 all the way down to the low 190 range is, probably enough of a advantage over what I was before, and I might not even necessarily need to lose those extra 10-ish pounds to be considered a normal BMI. So this is gonna need 5 of these, unless I think these are needed actually for the powerhouses. Yeah, so I'm gonna need 6 powerhouses. I'm gonna need to grab more of my lead. So, DDCs, I need 4 of you. 4 of you pretty things. Doot. Can I put these directly next to each other? I can. So I will. Of course, I will also stick this behind a overflow valve, just in case. Just in case. Theoretically, this consumes 400. I can add another 6. I can add another 6 of these and be just fine. However, do I want to run this here or not? I don't know. It's like, do I want to do it on this side instead and maybe save on the regular niobium pipe? I guess I will. The issue that I'm going to run into, though, is the coke input. That's going to be the primary concern here. Oh, hello. I think that's all the tech I can possibly get at this time. So, hello, even less power requirements. Auto saves. Alright, that should go and do its thing, but it should back up on the fuel oil because I don't have another ostensibly 6 of these. I will go ahead and stick the ghosts down, place what I can down for those ghosts. How is... Oh, there's another thingy connecting stuffs. Now, if I put down all of the combustion turbines right now, I think I'm gonna run into the issue of consuming all of my fluid. I could be wrong, though. In fact, I'm most likely wrong. Don't judge me. I'm wrong most of the time. Not really most of the time, but you get my meaning. I would like to think that I am correct most of the time. Do I have any niobium on me? I do. To at least do that, I'll have to go out and grab more niobium. I need to, of course, make additional cooling towers. Let's see, if I have 12 of these, I am going to need to bring in my other line of coke. I'm gonna have to run my third line in anyway, so I'm going to probably do that. Reposition the mic a little bit, and bring in the water again to fill the system. This is a closed loop. This will make 2,000 units of steam, which 10 cooling towers can handle. This is higher than the throughput of a pipe, though, without having to use pumps at any point, so realistically, I should do a separate setup, so I should cut that and do a different set of 5. Then as for these can work just fine, I'm pretty sure, because that's still only 600 per second. Alright, taking all those things into account. Remember, this is just 400 more per second on the crude. leaving me with another 600 per second left over for use on many, many, many other things. Potentially. So that'll be nice. Now, I am also in the process of working on Rayon, technically speaking, and getting into batteries and the whole molybdenum chain. So, do I really want to do all this oil processing right now, or do I want to not do the nickel and go instead into molybdenum? These are all good questions that, in the end, I will do all of that. Let's see, what else do I need? Lead. Lead, small parts. Small parts, huh? Well, the small parts are being buffered right there. I don't think I'm buffering my lead. Am I buffering my lead? No, I'm not. That's sad. I should be buffering my lead. Please buffer my lead. Like, that sounds like a wonderful idea. Please buffer my lead. I have all of the things that I need to do my robot network. I wanna throw that out there. I have everything I need for the robot network, but we shall see. Part of me wants to do circuit 2s without relying on robots, but again, we shall see. So what the robots would allow me to do is to better deal with a lot of the rejects / all of the byproducts from a lot of the recipes, things like the gravel, the extra stone, and the sand, all of that stuff. There are things that you can do with that stuff that I'm currently burning, but the issue is just the logistics and getting things from A to B, and taking things from all these disparate locations into a more centralized location, and that's where robots would shine, because you don't have to worry about placing any belt, and they operate on straight lines always in the most efficient fashion. The only thing is, because of their speed, you need lots of them to operate efficiently. Now, what am I looking for? I am looking for my powerhouses. That should do it on the powerhouse front. I am going to go and grab some additional niobium underground pipe from where I am producing that. Looks like I'm also really low on belts, so I'll probably grab those on the way back. Technically speaking, I could do normal oil refining soon-ish. Once I get stainless steel, I can actually make vanilla oil refineries. That would be the easy way to get heavy and light oil, I guess. Without needing to go with steam and water and all these other more complex processes. But then I have to think, are the vanilla processes of processing oil even worth doing as is? There may be uses for light and heavy oil, but are the processes of directly converting into each of those different things more efficient overall? The way I generally operate, I think is more... I went right past where I wanted to actually go, which was here to grab some felt. So the way I tend to operate is if I can make something individually, I will. Think like the individual ore sorting in Angels, where you're taking multiple things in to produce a single ore out, versus getting multiple ores from a single input. I always prefer the single because I have complete and total control over that single's output. And the vanilla oil refining is, of course, the opposite of that. You have to make all three things out of crude. You have to make the petroleum and the light oil and the heavy oil, and you have to take whatever's extra and I need another one of these. No. You have to take whatever's extra and convert it back, which has never sat well with me, doing the cracking into the other things from heavy oil to light to petroleum. And then there's no real way to convert in the opposite direction either. So it's like, I'd rather make just heavy oil, just light oil, or just petroleum, and fortunately you can do all of that in this mod. Right now I am making just heavy oil in an area, and I'm using my heavy oil for heavy oil purposes. Let's see, I am out here to grab you, because apparently I need even more duralumin. By the way, why am I even still doing this? I have this. Like, I should be exclusively doing this, not anything else. Like, none of this should even exist. This should be my processing and not that. Yeah, it cuts down by 1 per second, but this is the far more efficient process for duralumin. Alright, thank you for the extra cooling tower. And off I go to finish. Not quite finish. I do need to run more belt of this beautiful stuff. I don't really need this many power poles in that spot anymore. I think this used to be the stone. I'm gonna sneeze. I sneezed, and I muted in time. Hallelujah. So perhaps I should mention that every week I do a recap blog post on my website. If you didn't know, I do have a website. It is otakushowboat.com. It is my personal blog that I definitely make use of. Do I want to be on this side? No, I don't, actually. I'd rather be here. And every week that I've been streaming, I have been making a recap. A weekly recap post. Just discussing the week's streams, how things have gone, and all of that good stuff. And this past week was the 11th. The 11th one. And I decided that I was going to start making goals for the following week. And seeing if I could actually keep up with those goals. And this particular week, what I wanted was in the game, I want to finish up the processing of stainless steel. So I want stainless steel this week as actual progress with what I'm streaming. I don't need to go quite this far. I can merge in about there and be just fine. That is exactly what I can do. However, on that same vein, that same topic... Oh right, this is 2,000 units of water as well. Ahama. Ahama. That should work. I just have to feed some water in. There we go, that's that powered, and yeah, I just need more water into the system. So I wanted to be more active on both the Factorio forum and on Twitter starting this week. Now, why would I want to do that? I want to do that because it's a means of getting my name out there. It's all part of that whole networking thing and advertising oneself. The idea is not so much that I am directly advertising myself in these activities. That is an awful idea. Don't ever do that. Don't ever go out and start socializing on forums and things like that for the express purpose of self-promotion in whatever posts you're making. Actually contribute. Contribute something and get people knowing what your name is, so that if they see your name later, they're like, ah, that's the person who helps out with topics on the forum. Or who is active on this forum. And on Twitter and all that. So, alright, that should be enough water in at this point to keep everything flowing. I can, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, of course I did, but that should be fine. Alright. So the reason I am keeping the water systems separate... Oh, that doesn't exist. That might help. So I'm keeping the water systems separate just because this is over 2,000. And I can have 7 and be fine on the throughput. This is 7, 5, just how I routed stuff back in. Oh, I don't think that's still not gonna work though. That's still not gonna work though. I'm gonna have to do this the opposite way. Not on that spot though. Not on that spot though. Oh, come on. Really? Alright. For my sanity, I will do things this way. This may need a bit more water in again, but I'll worry about that later. So, 1,000 units here, 1,000 units here, 2 separate closed loops is the current design on this, just to avoid throughput limitations on pipes. So, anyway, as I was saying. So, ineloquently, due to being vastly distracted while still actually doing things on the screen, it's much harder than it looks. Trust me, I know firsthand. So yeah, I want to post more on my Twitter account, be a bit more active, because I just am not active all that much in my use of social media, period. I need to essentially train myself to use these things more often and to be a little bit less reclusive. So that's part of the goal for this week, is to be a bit more active on Twitter and on the Factorio forums. I want to probably do about a post every day or so on the forum. And I want to post at least a separate post from a stream announcement every day on the Twitter, my Twitter, Otaku Showboat on Twitter. Okay, I think that we are now officially good to go. Yeah, we are really good to go. There's nearly 200 megawatts available just from that one area. Oof. Also, I should note that I believe that I am officially backed up on coal gas at this point. I am backed up on coal gas, so I don't need to go through processes of making more coal gas. And I should also be backed up on syngas. I think part of my... I think just by eliminating the power generation via syngas, eliminating that demand for syngas, I now have... Is that even backed up, though? I now have more available syngas, I think, ultimately. And yeah, these are all full. Uh-oh. Ah-ha! That's a boo-boo. Well, no wonder why I don't have any... Why my coal gas is backed up is because I'm not converting any of it into syngas. Oh boy. Along the entire line. In fact, I think just deleting that gets it working. Gets the juices a-flowing again on the majority of my line. Making syngas. Now, that being said, yes, I should absolutely be backing up on my syngas with all of these operating fully. Just as soon as all the pipes fill up, it should back up, and I should use less coal gas in the end because I am using less syngas that it's being made out of. Now, question, am I bussin' this? Yes, it appears so. Good. Do I want to use the dust and convert the dust into syngas? And then burn the ash? I should? Again, to reduce the amount of syngas from coal gas. That gives me coal gas, basically, for free. Oh, I should have grabbed these and used these. Oh, well. Oh, well. So, what's next? Okay, what is next? Do I continue Rayon, or do I go the route of the path to gasoline? So, urea. Am I bussing urea at the moment? I don't think so. No. I am not. The next line, I think, is the line right next to that raw fiber. So I will go ahead and make just a few underground belts, because I need all of them. Also, how much chlorine am I making? I have 12 electrolyzers, I think. "12 electrolyzers, making 60 per second of chlorine." I'll be back. Where did I leave that little, those extra Tholen buildings? Where did I leave those again? I left them out here somewhere. Not in that box. Thought they were somewhere near the concrete. There. That is the box. So, oh, not that building. Thorns and the plant. So, chlorine. Wow! The wow is, just that it's actually more than I thought it would be. So... making 50 per second, we'll need 10 plants. Let's get an even number here. So, 60 per second, chlorine, 100, that's 40. 40 by 800. Sorry, 0.8. Let's do this somewhat intelligently. And then 12 by, I think it's 700. 12 by 0.7. 40.4 megawatts for that. I definitely have that spare, and that gives me 60 per second. It gives me 60 per second of chlorine without needing saline water. Period. Without needing any saline water. Which saves, and it doesn't produce any extra of the sodium hydroxide. So not only do I produce less of something that I'm currently overproducing, and it doesn't lead into getting too much extra hydrogen either. You see, each of these electrolyzers is 800 kilowatts. That's the same as a Tholen atmospheric extractor. Plus you need all of the saline water on the planet. Like tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of saline water to get into chlorine. And in the end, 12 things produces 50 per second. Or however much. How much was it? Was it 60? I think it might have been 60 on this line of 12 of chlorine, which, you know, doing all this just for 60 chlorine, it's already using a lot of energy, and the salt itself requires fuel. Consumes 2 megawatts. Sheesh. Per thing. And this ends up making, I think it's 200 per second of saline water out of 4. It's 50 each. Gosh, I think this is another one of those circumstances where it just might be... It's definitely more convenient to do Tholand chlorine. So, Rayon. Why was I looking at chlorine? Well, it's in part to do, I think, with the carbonate chain. Sulfate. So, no, I guess not. Yeah, hydrogen chloride is needed for all of this. And thing is, you get lots of hydrogen through normal electrolysis. You get oxygen and hydrogen out of regular electrolysis, so why bother? And that's going to need salt, by the way. Lots of salt for all of that. So I need some salt mines. I need some of my engine units. I'm going to go ahead and probably just do what I can to finish my Rayon today, and then I will make I'll do the nickel stuff, I suppose. Still a little torn on that. Now, I do believe I am converting all of my chlorine into hydrogen chloride. Yeah. Yeah, I am definitely converting all of it, considering I have 6 of these plants. And then over here, I have... What is my production? 60 per second. And you only have these 2 options. This is consuming 300 per second on saline water. Yeah, I don't like this whole thing. Again, you don't get enough chlorine out of this. It's just, it's not good enough. Now, the chlorine, it's used for PPD, which I will need for Kevlar. No way around PPD, which will need nitrobenzene, ammonia, and chlorine. Straight up chlorine. Chlorine is used in this other recipe for nylon. It's used in titanium tetrachloride, which is why I want extra chlorine. Now, and it's used in the better aramid, but this aramid recipe is technically locked behind nanotech with the sub-denier microfiber. Now, what is hydrogen chloride used for? Some lithium stuff, bisphenol A, ammonium chloride, silver foam. That's actually used in fusion stuff later. Niobium complex, which is between the chloride and the niobium, is what I am currently using the hydrogen chloride for. So, in the end... Oh, it looks like you get hydrogen chloride out of making these things. So I think you start with sodium bisulfate, you throw salt and sulfuric acid in. I think in total I'm using a full salt line for this. Coke, limestone, and sulfate. Now you could do hydroxide into sulfate to avoid having to deal with salt, but I want to do... I would want to do this recipe line so that I can get some hydrogen chloride out of it, I think. But I could just do this. Since I'm making extra sodium hydroxide. And then limestone and coke. Okay. These are both... This is in a chem plant. So... Chem plant. Let me have a look at some ratios here. Then what am I going to need on that rayon? Did I put down... Yeah, I put it way up here. It's a pulp mill. Stone, of course. I just want to see about this. Making rayon, I need 0.83. Yeah, 1 is fine for that. Note, I still need the carbonyl sulfide and the... I think that's about it, really. Belt the ammonia, making the fiber. This is, yeah, besides that, carbonyl sulfide. Coal, sulfur, propene. Which I am making some propene already, so no need for that. Lead plates and gas. Yeah, I should be making some propene already. Right here even. No, that's not propene, that's polybutadiene. What am I thinking? Where... I'm making propene for benzene, actually, I think maybe. Or no, I'm making... This is it? Yeah, this is propene. Propene for cumene, that's what it's for. Cumene. Cumene, right there. So I can expand this out to make some more propene. Bust the propene up and be fine. So that carbonyl sulfide is perfectly fine. Ammonia would be one other thing to make a bit more of, but I'm actually already bussing that because I need ammonia in the niobium processing stuff too, so I have some of that hanging around. So the question is 0.88. One. So 4 chem plants. Of those, 10 per second on the sodium hydroxide, though, that is not happening. So I will do the other process. However, I am going to take a brief break of about, I don't know, 8 minutes or so. And when I return, we will be working towards that sodium carbonate stuffs. I'll be back shortly. I have returned from my break. Now to get back into this whole Rayon business with the sodium carbonate. So ultimately, I'm thinking I'll go ahead and I'll use the sodium hydroxide that I do have that's spare, all this stuff that's being burned right now. I'm going to transfer all of that over, all that excess over into some sodium sulfate, and I'm also going to go out and get some sodium bisulfate from salt. So I think that that is ultimately what we are going to do. Isn't that right, kitty? Looking at me, all sleepy-eyed. Yeah, get that petting in, yeah. Gotta get that petting in of the kitty. Yeah, looking scraggly as per usual. You're gonna need to be shaved at some point, mister. Because you've stopped deciding you want to groom yourself. Issue, of course, being that shaving a cat is not particularly cheap. Not particularly cheap in the slightest. Now, I dislike any situation where production being backed up on one thing will stop the production of something else that's used for something else that's necessary. In this situation, if I were to break down this burner line and stop burning excess sodium hydroxide to make into whatever I'm making out of it in these chem plants, this stuff, the sodium sulfate, if I were to do this, the problem is if I'm backed up on sodium sulfate, then I inherently back up on sodium hydroxide, which then stops my saltwater electrolysis from producing chlorine and hydrogen. So that's a problem, and that is the reason why I would want to keep the line here. So I will. It looks like, it appears as if I have actually already started bussing my sodium hydroxide. How far have I bussed my sodium hydroxide, though? I have bussed it all the way to there, because it's also used in the production of activated carbon. Okay, that's good to know that I have that all the way out there already. Okay, that means I can go all the way out there to do this. Salt mines, that was the other thing. I need some steel. Beautiful, glorious steel. Apparently also I need some circuits. And yet more beautiful, glorious steel. So I just wanted to make a few of those. The kitty is so cute next to me. Not going to move the webcam to show you Kitty right now. Definitely not going to pick him up when he's all sleepy. So, salt, eh? Untapped salt is what I am particularly looking for. I mean, yeah, there's this, but this is sort of in the way of the bus. I guess I could just go around it. And 3 would be a full yellow belt. I guess I'll do this, then. Just because it's right here, and I can bring some coke over to feed it quite easily. Or better yet, I can feed it with raw fiber, which is actually the more efficient solution, because raw fiber, if you didn't know, has a fuel value of 6 megajoules, so an extra megajoule over coke. Problem is, you need a lot of this for producing Rayon and such. I don't know how much extra I have, but anyway, 3. 1, 2, 3. Each of these, actually it's not 30 per second, it's 15 because it's mining time of 200% on top of these. So you can see mining time 200%, so that is 1 yellow belt. Precisely 1 yellow belt. And as long as you lane balance, the outputs should align. Alright, so this is gonna affect things massively, depending on how much more bus I need. It's more likely to impact fluids than anything else. Fortunately enough, I have niobium pipes and probably won't have to care at all. Yeah, I probably won't have to even care about pipes and how this impacts things. All else fails, I go around. It's like, I can go around this. Just go up, over, up. Simple as that, really. So, feeding these things. So tempting to use that fiber, so tempting to use that fiber, so tempting to use that raw fiber. I'm using the raw fiber. Screw it. Screw it with a rake. Beautiful raw fibers. Then I will need power. Oh boy, this is gonna be interesting. Time for the big guns. So that should be power and fuel to the salt. Glorious salt. Glorious, beautiful salt. And that, my friends, is a full yellow belt of salt. Being fed by raw fiber. Apparently by a lot of raw fiber. Oh my goodness. That uses energy fast. May need to switch over to the actual Coke line, but we shall see if I really have to do that. Up, up, and away! We go, we go. I likely do not have enough belt. I'm gonna go get more belt while I'm close to the more belt area. Where's the more belt area? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's right by the rubber, which is right here. Hello, more belt. I said hello, more belt. I should have a box for stupid stuffs. Take this concrete, I do not need it. Speaking of which, circuits. Lots and lots of circuits. Alright. Lots and lots of circuits needed for that. I am abso-freaking-lutely, by the way, going to make Tholin-based chlorine. Absolutely going to make Tholin-based chlorine. That is not even a question. It is happening. Tholen-based chlorine will happen because I absolutely hate, I think hate is the word I want to use here, the inefficiency of the saltwater electrolysis. How little chlorine you get out of the saltwater electrolysis. And how there's no other way of getting more. And you sort of end up stuck with lots of sodium hydroxide solids. Alright. How are these things doing? Eh. I mean, I am backed up on the coal gas anyway. It's not a huge pull on things. Acetylene's going strong. Using up my current tholins. Okay. I'm gonna set up 2 that are directly making sodium sulfate out of the sodium hydroxide. And that should consume the excess. That should consume the excess that I currently have. Alright, let's not even bother with these games of jumping over things with undergrounds. Considering the unlikely circumstance of actually bringing every single lane of the bus all the way up. For those who don't know, by the way, the whole concept of the main bus, you are not actually supposed to run every single line down the entire bus. Like, this is how a main bus is supposed to look. You're not supposed to run lines willy-nilly all the way down to some termination point that you have defined by whatever's the end of what you're making. No, you're only supposed to bring as lines up for as far as they are needed to produce things that you are making on the line off to the side. So unless and until I need, let's say, let's see, how far have I run my stuff? So my steel is run a lot further than what it needs to be, how far it needs to be run. This is the last thing that consumes steel, right here. This is the last thing that I have that's consuming my steel. The steel does not need to be run any further, even though it sort of is right now. It is a waste of belt to run this steel any further beyond this point until such time as I have another thing consuming steel further down the line. That is how you're really supposed to do the main bus, ultimately. And even though you should plan to have a couple of lanes of the same item, don't start with multiple lanes of the same item until you need that extra throughput for that item. That's another thing that people get caught up with is the overproduction of the base materials. I'm not actually... I don't actually have sulfuric acid on the main bus right now. My sulfuric acid is being made right here, or do I? Do I? I do! I actually do. I just need to route it up. Cool. It is right next to the... lubricant. So it is this line right here. Yeah, and it's niobium too. Excellent. Let's bring this bad boy up. All the way up. How far up, you ask? A little bit. Oh, come on. Stop being stuck. Of course, the rock's in the way. So oddly enough, this produces water, which I have no idea what I'm going to do with. Probably just sink it. Do I have a sinkhole on me? Of course I do. I have tons. Sink it! There's no reason for it to exist, so sink it. Sink it into the pits of oblivion. So I'm gonna have that, and then I'm going to have my salt being processed into bisulfate. Is it actually this? I don't think it's this. Bisulfate is in a mixer. Okay. I might not actually have aluminum plates. FYI. Oh, I do. I am backed up. Cool. Da-da-da. I need circuits. I simply need circuits. There's the end. Trying to avoid picking up too many other things on the way. Oh, it actually does look like I need stone bricks. Oddly enough, I also need stone bricks. And apparently lead. The glorious lead. Still more lead? Wow. Alright, that'll be 3. I don't think I need 3 per se, but who knows? Who even knows at this point how much I'm going to need? I'm just making guesstimates at this point. By the way, how are you looking? Really good. That's part of my paint the planet scheme. Paint the planet in aluminium, making really loud noises. Alright, mixers. Right there. Boink, boink, boink. Make for me the sodium bisulfate. So, I had determined at one point that I would have needed 4, but this is not taking into consideration what I'm going to be getting out of... Oh. I never even bothered finishing this connection. How about finishing this connection? That sounds like a good idea. Also need to continue bringing the salt line right on up. Okay, you are going to need the salt in and the sulfuric acid, and that is it. Okay. Now I did bring up this sulfuric acid, so that's fine and dandy. And I'm not going to shortcut my way up. I will do this properly. I'm going to need to pick up more inserters. How is my power? Just fine. And I'm going to need to pick up more poles. More beautiful power poles. There we go. There we go with the salt. The glorious, beautiful salt. And then this is exclusively all going into all that stuff. I need to do something with all this as well. Good, it's aligned. These produce the stuff as excess. 7! What's, I don't need 7. I'm trying to get to 0.88. You are going to give me up to 0.5. I think I am producing at least 5 per second, but once the other stuff gets going that needs sodium hydroxide among the circuit 1 production, that's also going to be scaled up and all that stuff. This is going to eventually start choking, so let's estimate that I'll get half of it out, so 0.25. So 0.88 minus 0.25, 0.63. So I can do 5. That'll consume 0.63. I'm making 0.75. So I could do one more. Do I want to do one more? I'll do one more. Just in case. This will give me more than enough. Now, sodium bisulfate is used only in sodium sulfate, so there is no chance that this will end up on my bus. I'll go ahead and use long-handeds. Then I have to go through the trouble of I have to go through the trouble of routing stuff in as well, and making limestone. Picking up additional thingies here. Bringing salt in, of course. Salt, I can just, I will shortcut the salt. There we go. That gets this moving. The only thing is I need to do something with the, hydrogen chloride. The hydrogen chloride should have a line that's been brought up, to here. So I will go ahead and bring this line up, but I also need to do an overflow valve on it. because this is another one of those circumstances where I need to get rid of this stuff. There we go. Hydrogen chloride. Overflow valve. Where am I gonna put this? Probably here. Into gas vents. Just because I'm out of medium power poles, whatever. What? Okay, so you apparently are not supposed to burn the hydrogen chloride to vent it, to get rid of it. Let me sinkhole it instead. Hey, it can be sinkholed. That's the one. I'm out of coffee, how unfortunate. Alright, as I fully reposition myself, here is the beautiful sodium sulfate. We've still got one more step, kitty. You've still got one more step. He's like, just let me sleep. But I like the petting, though. Yeah. Next step is... Is it in the HPF? I'm pretty sure it is. Sodium carbonate from coke, limestone, and sodium sulfate. In order to make the amount that I desire, I will need 2.63 in on limestone. Limestone, of course, will be made through soil extractors. Limestone, soil extractors. That's one way. You could either also do slacked lime, that'll give you limestone. You could do... Oh, I could actually do this now? Huh. I could do this now. Oh, that reminds me, I haven't done something on screen yet. There is a command that I now have found, thanks to the magic of forums. And this command, right here, this command resets all of your technology recipes, so that when you run it, you are guaranteed to now be updated on all of your available technologies and recipes, which comes in handy. So now I know that I should have every recipe unlocked that has been modified, added to, changed, whatever, through Pyanodon adding things and moving things since the beginning of the playthrough. So that's handy to have around. I'm glad I have it around. This actually will produce some CO2. Some. I apparently need 7 of these. Seven of these to produce enough for my wonderful thingies. Wonderful thingies! Glorious thingies! All the thingies. So the real question is just limestone now. Do I want to siphon off limestone that I'm already producing? Or like add to a limestone line, because I sort of already have limestone here. To feed into my aluminium processing setup, which is apparently backed up at the moment. So, do I siphon off excess from there? I don't really like doing that. In case you couldn't tell thus far in my style of play. What are you limited by? Lubricant! Oh my. You're right. That makes complete sense that that would be limited by lubricant. But I don't really need any additional Nexilite right now. It has served its purpose, shall we say. The production for the Nexilite has been met for the moment for the demand that I have currently. Okay, yeah, so soil thingies. That's going to need stuff. Soil extractors. Tin. I will need tin. Glorious tin must be gotten. I should probably make a bus tinned cable. Ooh, hello. Ooh, I'm probably making... What now? Oh, I need copper for copper cables. Okay. Let's see how many I need. Oh, big yawn. Big yawn. Are you gonna sneeze? Yep. You're gonna sneeze right on my arm. Thank you, Cole. So much for sneezing on my arm. Thank you so much for being allergic to me and choosing to sneeze all over my arm. Anyway. You there. I need 2.63. How many did I just make? Enough. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7. Oh boy. Yeah, you're getting up. You're getting up. Oh, that you know what that means? That means you get to be shown off to people. Hi, my sweet. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that means people get to see the kitty. Yeah, they get to actually see the kitty now. Yeah, that pretty boy. That's a pretty boy. All right, you can go now. You can go now. Yeah, big shake. Big shake. What did he just do to me? Oh, goodness. Now don't proceed to just walk in front of my screen. Alright, there. You leaving me now? He may be leaving me now. He's contemplating. There he goes. He's hopped off. He has a convenient stairwell to get to and from my desk. Because right next to my desk I have, what shall I call it? It is my box of things. It is my bin of cables. I have a full bin of just random cables and things. You know, those big, like, plastic bins that you can buy for storage? Yeah, I have one. It's full of, old wires and cables and stuff like that. I need to just go and get more, power poles. Oops. I can't actually fix that. Oh well. So I have that on the desk, and that happens to be at just the right height for Cole to hop up onto that and then hop up onto my desk. It makes it 2 equidistant jumps for him. Which, helps, because he is arthritic. Very, 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 very arthritic. Basically, his entire spine and hips are arthritic. Which doesn't help when you live in a split 3-tier house. And the litter boxes are on the bottom level and the top level, and not in the middle. And when I say split level, I mean it's in total, the height of the house is the same as a 2-story house, but like half the house sits at single-story level on top of foundation, but then the other part of the house doesn't really have raised foundation, but is split into 2. It has 2 areas. So we have like a half level of stairs down to the bottom, and a larger set of stairs going up to the top from that section of the house that sits in between. So there's sort of 3 half tiers in this house. Alright, I was picking up these beautiful things. Let's get one more. Oh, and there's no bathroom on that central tier. That central tier is like the entrance and living, quote, living room, parlor type nicer area, as well as the kitchen. And that's all that's there, is just that relatively open space. And then downstairs is the den and 2 bedrooms, this being a bedroom that is a converted garage that is being used as an office, and the other actual bedroom that's far smaller that is also an office, and then the laundry room, which has a toilet. And that's it. That's what's down here. And then the upstairs is the primary bathroom for the house, as well as the master bedroom's bathroom, with the master bedroom and my bedroom. So we use the top level for bedrooms, and we use the bottom level for offices. But whenever you want to use the actual primary bathroom from down here, because the laundry room is not really a place you want to use use the toilet, you have to go up the full set of stairs, both sets, all the way up each time. Definitely get my stair steps in for the day in this house. Definitely get that at least. Alright, so you're going to need coke as well. 3 inputs. I don't want that there. I don't want that there. I don't want that there. I want... It's only 0.88 though on the output. Oh, and of course I did. Of course I forgot to stop and get inserters. I need inserters. My inserters must insert. I need inserters to insert. Down we go. There they are. Right there. Give me that. Give me that. And off we go. Really looking forward to Circuit 2s to get some stack inserters going. That will be nice. Once stack inserters are a thing. Because there will come a point where I just exclusively start using stack inserters for no other reason than they just move more. They just move more. More! More, I say. So this is what I was contemplating whether or not I wanted to do. It's like, do I do the evened output or do I not? So sodium carbonate is used for apparently vanadium mixture out of uranium waste, which that will probably be useful. For vanadium oxide. And it's apparently used in a bunch of glass recipes. More advanced glass recipes. So I may want to bust this. What about sodium sulfate? What are you used for? Various upper level, upper tiered mineral processing. Metal processing, I should say. As well as apparently glass fibers that would be used, I would assume, in fiberglass? But I don't know what other... oh, that's the only recipe. Okay, so yeah, I'm definitely going to be needing this stuff for that. Recipe for fiberboard that uses it. Starch, apparently. Phosphate glass. Now, what is that used for? Some Mark III stuff. So I've got some time for that one. So, this stuff will need to be bussed. Probably should be producing more of it due to that. This will also need to be bussed. So I will go ahead and just do that. Now I will be bringing in the limestone here. On this line. I will be expelling my limestone. Like so. I don't even need an even output, but you never know. Maybe at one point I may. Excellent. That should get it all moving. Ideally. I need to do something with this CO2. How much is being made? Enough to vent. Okay, coke, that's right. That is this line. Glorious coke. I'm going to need to bring down that third line of coke. So I'm gonna go do that. Considering it's right here. What the heck is a 3-lane balance? Probably doesn't really exist, so I'm just going to run this down and treat it as if I have 4 lanes. I don't have 4 lanes, but I'm going to treat it as if I have 4 lanes. Because this belt balancer is throughput unlimited. Hello, kitty. Welcome back. Welcome back, kitty. I might not have enough belt for this. And I definitely will be doing this belt balancer after every location. I've done this enough times to know how to make it by heart. All you have to do is just do it enough times and you'll memorize it. This is the most common belt balancer that you will see used. Although it's, I think, one of the first times I'm even using it in this playthrough. Excuse me. Orient correctly. Thank you. Probably don't even need to build this segment at all on the end here when I'm not running that fourth lane, but anyway, bring this down. There's a couple of ways that you could actually make this that are functionally identical, but I prefer to do it this way. For example, you could, instead of having this splitter here, you can jump first. I'll probably just do that on the next one here. So you could jump first and then do that balance, and this is functionally identical to how the other ones look. This is the exact same. There is no difference here between them. It just looks a little different. And it's not, and it's still throughput unlimited. It's just two ways to do the same thing. Granted, I probably don't need to run this all the way down like this and do this each and every single time. I'm just used to doing this like so. Oh, hello, another one. Ah, I am out of splitters. This is probably the last one I'll muck about with here. That's the last one I'll muck about with. Oh, hello. Forgot that. I'll run my way back up. That's just to add additional oomph to those other lanes anyway. Unsure how much further I need that third. That's not right. Oh, it's backing up. Yeah, that would be correct. Because this one's already backed up and these aren't quite backed up yet. That's why that looked a little off. But yeah, this 4-4 balancer, it will make sure that it balances any input to any output up to 4. That's why it's so useful. Because it does do that balancing up to 4. Ooh, make sure I use my 200%. Speed bonus. Glorious speed. Alright, so I should have a bit of a non-zero amount of these thingies now. Bus it? Question mark? My Rayon's all the way down here, so that's not gonna be particularly viable. I am using 3 lanes thus far on there. Let's put this next to the salt. Sure, why not? Just because I can. Maybe not this many. Off they come. I'm gonna need more belt. Alright. No. This is correct. Where's my Rayon? There's my Rayon. Little further down. Little bit more. Whoops. Alright. Rayon. Still working towards you. I only really need one more thing. That's this stuff. Sulfuric acid can officially join the party. Because I have run this. Where is the ammonia? Probably needs to be run to the north from down here. The ammonia is there. And yeah, it needs to be run from that point. I can at least connect it up while I'm here. Maybe within the next 20 minutes we will have some Rayon. That would be nice. It's unfortunate that I wasn't really able to get to the nickel today, but we are now a lot closer, at least, to molybdenum. So that's going to be cool. Once I get both the molybdenum... Because I have to do both. I have to do molybdenum and I have to do nickel. So, either way, I have to do both of them. So they're gonna happen. They're going to happen at some point or another. I just hope I have enough ammonia. Defeat enough Rayon. Have we arrived? We have arrived. We have arrived at the Rayon. The glorious Rayon. So, question of the day. Where the heck am I putting my ammonia in? probably right there. Just like that. Wonderful. There's the ammonia. And then what lane was I going to be moving in? For you. So I have two options. One is needed for urea, the other is for the carbonate. I guess I'll bring in the carbonate right here. I'll need yet another line for my urea. I think that's the spacing. Yeah, that is totally the spacing. I need to get some go-go juice for the car. And by go-go juice, I mean stuff with vehicle acceleration improvements. Urea. Ooh, can I do this in 17 minutes? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I have to run urea up, and I have to run the stuff for that carbonyl sulfide. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We shall see. Where is my source of the rubber? Rubber! Give me the belts that you have nearby. Off we go. So the urea is way back here. Yeah, I'm making technically more of it than... Ooh, I'm like out of basically everything. Splitters included. Where the heck am I going to put this? What even is this line? Ah, that. The fourth line is now being used. Do I have enough space? I do. Alright, so that's gonna go on a brand new line. Oh boy. Oh joy, oh bliss. Okay, so this is the second. And that is how that begins. The new line. Oh boy, new set of 4. brand new set of 4. I am really looking forward to not having sets of 4 anymore. Do. Let's roll all the way up. Ow. I was just about to say, I hope there's no rocks in the way. I was going to say that more so about being in the way of the placement of the belt and not in the way of my car. But as it turns out, we've got both here as issues. Hazards. And the effects of the belt moving the car. That's always going to be a thing, I think. Up, and away we go. Alright, so we're right by where this needs to be taken. Right close. So, what is the line that I need to draw here? It needs to go there, so... There we go. Autosave. Please let me have enough undergrounds. Oh, I don't. Of course I don't. Of course not. Why would I? Why would I? Wait. It's like, this is the end, buddy. There is no other lane. Okay, there's the urea in. That just leaves the carbonyl sulfide, which is in a DDC. If I remember correctly. This gets made in a glorious DDC. What does it get made out of? In my glorious DDC. Is it a DDC? No, it's not. No, I must have been thinking of cyanic acid. Oops. It is made in a high-pressure furnace. Right here, out of coal, sulfur, and propene. Coal, sulfur, and propene. Coal. Coal, huh? Coal, sulfur, propene. Ooh, can I do this in 10 minutes? That is a question. Question is, do I have enough coal being made out of fauge at the moment? I definitely have the sulfur. I have some propene, probably should make more. I have a lane at the very least for coal that I can start pulling up. Coal from mushrooms, by the way. sustainably sourced coal. Right there. But while I'm out here, I will grab yet more of my belts. Make a few more of those. Just a few more. Grab some, excuse me. Grab some more of these, make some more splitters too. As I run the coal up. Now, why do I want to run the coal up? It's just because the sulfur is close. It was coal, sulfur, and what now? I've already forgotten what the third thing was. It has already slipped my mind. What was the third thing? What was? Uh-oh, I'm stuck. I'm stuck! I are stucks. Where did I even place this stupid thing? I don't even know where I placed the dang. Well, anyway. I don't even know where I placed the dang high pressure furnace that I just had. Oh. Yeah, likely will not be making the actual batteries today out of the Rayon that I'm about to make. Oh, it was here, and then I picked it up. So it was propene, right. I can pipe that in from anywhere. I can do that anywhere. Okay. You. How many of you do I need? 3? I need 3? Alright. There. We're going to do this as quickly as possible. Coal and sulfur. Coal and sulfur. Needs less coal than sulfur. Oh. Fortunately, I can do that. And they'll get plenty of power. Don't need to worry about outputs, just... but I do need the actual, you know, power for the buildings themselves. So, propene. Propene is being made where I am doing cumene for nylon all the way down here. So this is my propene. Do I want to add additional gasifiers for this? I don't know. I don't know. Probably. Maybe. I'm currently making 20 per second. That is what I need to note, is I'm making 20 per second. I don't know how much I actually am in need of. 4.5. Yeah, that's not much. All right. I think we're fine on stuffs. But are we fine on space of the fluid bus? Let's see here. There are 2 more open spaces. Yes. There are 2 more open spots. Which is fantastic and is exactly what I need. At least I'm assuming I don't have anything next to the lubricant already. Now this is going all the way down to the end. This much I do already know. Oh, so sad. It's we're down to 2 minutes now. I'm gonna keep going until I wrap this up. Wrap this production up. Because I want to see non-zero Rayon. No matter how much longer it takes, that'll be where we end things off. Alright, that's that connected. Now to connect this line outwards. Get the coal line in. Where is my belt of coal? Aw, I broke it. Get that belt of coal all the way up. Whoa, that's off. You're a little bit off there, thingies. What's the other thing? Sulfur. Have to run that up too. Excuse me. Oh, right. Sulfur! What's this line? All the way over. Come on, sulfur. It is right there. Come on. Come on up. And hop that. Do that, and then that's everything in. So now I have to run the pipe to the Rayon. Rayon is right over here. What is the... the line that I am drawing? Aww. And that, as they say... Wait, ammonia? Ammonia? What the hell? Oh! That ammonia should have been here the whole freaking time, and it's been stuck because of a missing underground. To exit. Missing exit. Oh boy. Alright, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix this, and then pick up a bit of ammonia and drive up. Not ammonia, what am I thinking? Urea. Urea. A little bit of urea. There we go. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of this. And then we're gonna drive right on up and over to the Rayon, deposit it so that we can see non-zero amounts of Rayon. Because I am not about to go waiting on this urea to go all the way, climbing itself up to where the Rayon is going to accept it. Okay, move on over. There it is. We've got non-zero amounts of the carbonyl sulfide. Grab some urea, and we now officially have our first Rayon. With that, we have reached the end of the stream today. I would like to thank you all for watching. What got done today? Well, as it turns out, I managed to go all the way out here and hook up some crude oil from 2 patches of crude. I have brought that crude oil as crude oil all the way down and hooked up that crude oil to the main bus, and I then proceeded with setting up a line producing even more fuel oil out of 400 per second of the just over 1,000 crude oil that I have brought down. and I doubled my power generation potential out of fuel oil. So now we are nowhere near even remotely close to running out of power. I have also hooked this back up to produce fuel oil out of excess crude oil, so that I make sure that all of these are producing heavy oil out of my oil before the remainder going up into fuel oil. So I reconnected that back up into the system as well. So we've got power for months. Not really, but we have a lot more power than we did before. And then I proceeded with setting up Rayon again. So we finished setting up Rayon. That is the main thing. Rayon is done. Done and dusted for now. All I need to do is get the Rayon physically down to my wonderful and beautiful battery production and bring in the inputs on this battery production, which is this recipe. So I need to bring chromium in, and rayon, and sodium hydroxide, and lead, and steel, and sulfur. So I have to bring all of those in because this is the best recipe of battery to rayon ratio. This is the best battery to rayon ratio. This gives you 3 batteries per unit of rayon. So you get 3 for 1 rayon, when over here you have to spend 2 rayon per battery. That's not about to happen. That is not about to happen. And this is 1-to-1 for these 2 recipes. 1 battery per rayon. I will take 3 batteries per rayon any day. Especially how easy it is to get sodium hydroxide and chromium and sulfur and steel and lead. All of that. That's easy stuff. So again, thank you all for watching. This has been Otaku Showboat. I will be back tomorrow, where I will hook up that battery and production, and from that point I could start working towards making molybdenum mines and doing molybdenum processing, and I also need to do nickel processing and all of that, and turning crude into distillates and all of that shenaniganry as we continue working towards stainless steel, and as I work towards aramid, because that is ultimately the next major process that is going to need molybdenum and TPA. I need aramid in order to actually cast the stainless steel, in which we already have aluminium, we have sodium hydroxide, we have titanium, we have sulfuric acid. I need the molybdenum. The molybdenum requires molybdenum mines, which require laser turrets, oddly enough, and that requires batteries. So molybdenum was locked behind batteries. Now that we have the ability to make batteries because we have rayon, we can start doing the molybdenum mining and processing, and the TPA is going to require liquid nitrogen, which is going to require gasoline, and it requires nichrome. So we have to get nickel for the nichrome, and we need the nichrome anyway because I want to do distillate processing with which to make the gasoline that's needed for the liquid nitrogen by doing this process through the stripped distillates, which requires titanium tetrachloride, which requires coal dust, titanium, and chlorine. That's easy enough, but I need the gasoline so that I could also do the continued processing. If I'm going to be getting distillates, I'll have heavy distillates, and from this recipe I'll have high distillates, and to make condensed distillates out of the high distillates you need gasoline. So, and I can use this to make, like, I don't know, refined syngas, and let me have more syngas and all that good stuff. So again, thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with lots more things as we continue towards stainless steel, which is our goal for the week. I will see you all then.